What if I told you that there is an AI image generation model out there that not only takes just over 10 seconds to generate unbeatable 4K blockbuster images, but can also browse the web for today's top headlines, read English to seamlessly translate posters into Chinese, and even think about physical logic like a human before drawing? Would you believe it? Well, that is exactly what we are going to dive deep into today. The newly unveiled mind-blowing AI model, Nano Banana 2. In this video, we're going to put it through 6 extreme tests to show you just how insane it really is. Stick around until the end, because you'll find that the old rules of AI image generation have been completely rewritten by this model. Right now, you can use this model in Google's AI Studio, Gemini, and AntiGravity. Let me use Gemini as an example to show you how to use it. Start a new chat, and then in the Tools menu, select Generate Image, or simply click the image generation shortcut at the bottom. At this point, you'll see an interface for selecting an image style. You can pick a style or just leave it blank. The model you'll be using here is our brand new Nano Banana 2. First of all, the main selling points of Nano Banana 2 this time are extreme speed and an ultra-high cost-performance ratio. As a Flash tier model, its image generation speed is more than twice as fast as the previous generation. Nano Banana Pro, it basically takes only a dozen seconds to spit out an image. Now, you might ask, does faster speed mean compromised image quality? Let's take a look at this test case we ran featuring a mythological Eastern ancient style girl. You can type the prompt below right into the input box. After just a few seconds, you'll get an image like this. Can you even believe this was rendered in just a few seconds? Let's zoom in. Look at the silver thread embroidery on the clothes, the intricate details of the jewelry, the matte texture, and that translucent glow on the skin from subsurface scattering. It completely rivals those expensive pro-level models. For friends doing commercial design or producing your own videos, the cost of mass production and trial and error has just been instantly slashed. Of course, good image quality is just the baseline. Anyone who has used AI knows that the most painful part of generating images is the collapse of character consistency. Nano Banana 2 has tackled this pain point right from the foundational level. In a single prompt and workflow, it can perfectly lock in up to 5 characters and 14 objects. No matter how you change the camera angle, the characters in the frame will absolutely not deform. What is even crazier is that it allows for extremely microscopic, precise control over the image. For example, with the beautiful girl we just generated, you just need to add a command to change her facial expression, and you'll get another perfect picture. First, let's focus on the consistency. In the image, the background mist, the strands of hair, and even the folds on the collar are exactly the same. Only the facial expression has changed. You can see that this result is actually a grid made up of 4 images. Images like this have immense reference value for us because the overall character remains strictly consistent. You can split these images up and then use them to generate a video. Today, we're also going to teach you another trick. You don't even have to split the images to create some stunning video effects. Over on RunningHub, they've just released a new feature called Infinite Canvas. This feature is super interesting, and I highly recommend you guys give it a try. From the homepage, click on Infinite Canvas and then create a new project. You'll notice that this is actually a workflow in itself. The features it currently supports include text-to-video, background replacement for images, and generating video from first and last frames. Let's look at generating a video using the first and last frames. We can just upload 2 of the images we just generated. Type your prompt in here, and you can generate an awesome video. For instance, we'll enter a universal prompt here, like best quality dynamic motion. Let's check out the generated result. First off, this video comes with sound effects. Also, you'll see that the expressions of the 4 characters in the video undergo noticeable changes. It basically strictly follows the descriptions of our first and last frames. We don't even need to crop the images. You can directly use the 4-image grid to generate the video as a whole. The result is just fantastic. I really suggest you give it a shot. In the ComfyUI space, RunningHub is a stellar online cloud platform. Whenever new tech or extensions pop up, they are always the first to support them. Plus, RunningHub provides an online community for ComfyUI creators, where you can discover tons of interesting workflows and creative inspiration. What we've tested so far are really just the baseline capabilities of the model. What if I told you that this text-to-image model can actually think like a large language model? Would you believe it? In the past, writing prompts was basically like a blind person feeling an elephant. But Nano Banana 2 introduces a thinking mode, what we call a reasoning loop. It first understands the physical logic and spatial relationships of the scene before it even picks up a pen to draw. Let's crank up the difficulty a bit. Here we have a prompt template. Note that it is a template, not just a static prompt. Much like programming language syntax, we use curly braces in the template to identify variable names. This means that during the generation process, these parts can dynamically change. This specific template is designed to generate a 3D miniature city map featuring local landmarks. First, we send this template over to Nano Banana 2 and give it a command to analyze the characteristics of Suzhou, fill in the template, and then generate the image. Take a look at this. The generated image is absolutely phenomenal. These kinds of images have already gone viral across many social media platforms, but there is no denying it. The visual impact it delivers is massive. It not only automatically extracted symbols like Suzhou Gardens and Jiangnian water towns, but it also planted these elements onto our map diorama, incredibly logically and with deep, realistic lighting and shadows. This kind of premium logic-driven aesthetic is just unreal. The next feature is definitely going to give a lot of you goosebumps. Nano Banana 2 has completely broken the constraints of historical training data. What does that mean? Well, all models have a knowledge base cutoff date. They can only retrieve knowledge from before that date. Anything after is normally inaccessible to them. But Nano Banana 2 actually supports real-time internet browsing. For example, we can ask it to search for today's latest news, focusing specifically on sports and finance, and then have it generate a 9-grid image layout. In most cases, AI models tend to generate a simulated world, but you'll notice that this model is generating events that are happening in the real world right now, and it can directly lay out a stylized, unified infographic for you. This model doesn't just help you observe the current world, it can even help you look back into history. For instance, we deliberately fed it a string of coordinates and a timestamp: latitude 52.5 degrees north, longitude 13.3 degrees east, May 8, 1945, at 10 p.m. If we just look at the contents of this prompt, you probably have no idea what we're trying to output. But after the model thought about it, it not only recognized that this was the historical moment of the surrender at the German Reichstag, but it also tossed out a paragraph of background trivia. It then accurately generated real-time 4-view grid images of the building from that exact era. How is this just a drawing software? This is clearly a visual encyclopedia. In the past, whenever image models encountered dense text and layout design, they would immediately show their true colors and turn everything into alien gibberish. But this problem simply doesn't exist for Nano Banana 2. We can use the prompt below to generate a blueprint of an iPhone 17 Pro Max. The rulers, dimensions, arrows, and ultra-fine vector lines are all flawlessly accurate. Now let's look at this high-definition complex reflection real-world shot. As you constantly zoom into the pupil of the eye, you'll see that it perfectly reflects the floor-to-ceiling windows of a modern apartment and a fiery sunset. This ray tracing level of realism is absolutely unbelievable. Let's look at another test with a complex kitchen scene. We asked it to generate a kitchen and label 15 common kitchen items in Spanish, complete with English translations and elegant floating subtitles. This kind of work would take a professional graphic designer hours to tweak. But Nano Banana 2 nailed it perfectly on the first try. Every single word is crystal clear, and there are absolutely zero spelling mistakes. Next, let's show off a god-tier trick in image translation and continuation. This time, the difficulty is cranked way up because we provided the model with a picture of someone's handwritten draft notes. Our prompt asks it to continue writing based on the exact handwriting style of the image. You'll see that it perfectly replicates the original author's handwriting and layout. The overall effect blends in completely seamlessly. To meet the demands of professional film production and commercial projects, Nano Banana 2 supports some absolutely insane aspect ratios. Check out this 4:1 sunset panorama. You can literally take this straight into an ultra-wide video project. or use it for a massive exhibition screen. Finally, in the ultimate ceiling difficulty reference generation test, we locked in the original character's appearance and asked them to strike an extremely complex fore and aft foreshortened pose with overlapping hands and explosive finger tension. And the result, it nailed it perfectly. The perspective is spot on, the lighting is correct, there are no missing or extra fingers, and even the look in the eyes partially obscured by the fingers is incredibly expressive. Honestly, after running all these tests, the biggest shock Nano Banana 2 gave me is that AI image generation is evolving from a mere paintbrush into a true brain, with a real perception of the world. It not only drastically reduces generation costs and time, but it also reaches a new industry pinnacle in logical reasoning and consistency control. If you want to witness this game-changing experience with your own eyes, I highly recommend you go try out this model. Alright, that's all we have for today. What are you waiting for? Go try it out yourself right now. Make sure to follow me to become someone who truly understands AI.